The ascending triangle, probably one of my most favorite patterns to trade. It's fairly rare, doesn't show up that often, but I feel like it has one of the higher success rates out of all the patterns out there. It is a bullish continuation pattern where you have an initial trend that is up. Then you get pullbacks against that initial trend, but every time you get a pullback, that pullback will make a series of higher lows, and every time it makes a higher low, it is retesting the same point of resistance overhead until eventually all of that price action converges to a point, and then you get a breakout topside. This pattern can be found on any time frame, but the larger time frame that the pattern is found on, the stronger the breakout will potentially be. And there are quite a few ways to trade this pattern, so let's go over a few now. Entry idea number one, you're going to take the entry as the stock breaks out of the resistance overhead. This means that you will be waiting for the entire pattern to form first, and then once that resistance is broken, take the entry on that breakout. Since we know that prior resistance should become new support, the top side of the triangle should be your stop loss. And where you take profits overhead is going to be totally up to you. Most options traders that I know like to take their profits around a 20% gain. Another way that you can take the entry on this pattern is on one of these higher lows. So let's say, for example, you notice the pattern shaping up here, and you want to take your entry on this higher low there. When you do that, your stop loss is going to be placed at the previous higher low because the formation of the pattern should hold true to making higher lows. Therefore, if this were to make a lower low, you would just close out and the pattern would be invalidated. And where you take your profits could be at the upper line of resistance, or you could hold through the formation until you get the eventual breakout and take your profits on that breakout. Now, because this is a bullish continuation pattern, you cannot have this pattern shape up if the prior trend is down. Because how can something be a bullish continuation if it's already moving down? Let's look at a real life example. Here I'm on the daily chart time frame for NVIDIA, and we're going to recognize here that the stock is making a series of higher lows. It is also rejecting off of a flat top line of resistance. This would be your low, this would be your higher low, and another higher low. This would be a rejection of resistance, and another rejection of resistance, and another rejection of resistance. Until eventually all of that price action converges to a point and you get a breakout move that is absolutely massive. And when I zoom out on this chart, you can truly see the scale of breakout that this stock had once the pattern was completed. Reviewing the two ways to take entries, taking the entry long on the breakout here for the move higher is just fine after you have confirmation, or taking an entry long on one of these dips with a stop loss at one of the lower lows is also fine. The way that you approach this pattern and take your entry is totally up to you. It just comes down to personal preference. Here's an example of something that you might think is an ascending triangle because the shape of the pattern is here. You do have a series of higher lows and you do have a flat line of resistance. But because the prior trend is down, while the shape of the pattern is correct, I cannot say that I would identify this as an ascending triangle because there's no bullish uptrend leading up into the formation of the pattern. You could, however, still trade this formation similarly, but when it comes to pattern recognition, I personally would not say that this is an ascending triangle. Rather, it's just a stock that is breaking a line of resistance. Hope the videos helped you out. That's all that I have for the ascending triangle pattern. Again, the pattern can be found on any time frame, and to truly recognize the pattern, the prior trend must be up. Thank you for your time. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.